is one thing, but life path is another. So this message, I guess you'd say, is trying to get out, but it takes a proper vessel, I guess you'd say, to get it out. So over those, 20 years since I wrote the first one, I've changed as a person, and become more of the conduit, I guess you'd say, for the message I was trying to get out in that initial book. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Sort of, yeah. So if we look at all 8 of your books, then we'll see,
You'll see my progression as a human being,
right,
I guess you'd
over
say.
the period of 20 years.
Yeah. But really, only this one, I never self-published. This is self-published. I never wanted to self-publish before this one, and a lot of that had to do with ego, my own ego, because I didn't want to do that. If I had to do that, well, I just didn't want to, that would take my ego down a notch. But if I could send it in and get somebody to publish it, well, that would say something really important about me. I'd be a really important person, right?
Right.
A writer. And that was, you can't look back and say it was the wrong thing to do, but I've changed as a person, and so I see, look, you've got to do this. You've got to self-publish your work. And it's become so easy these days that there's just no excuse not to do it. So if you write something, get it together and get somebody to edit it for you and self-publish it and get it out there, and then you'll have that credit to your name. And then if it does well and people like to read it, you can then pass that on to an agent and say, look, here are the book sales for this book, and maybe if a national publisher is behind it, maybe it would do well.
Well, what do you mean when you say what's involved with self-publishing?
Well, glad you asked that question. It's so simple now. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I just started looking around, and really the first one I came to was through Amazon. It's a company called CreateSpace, and if you just go to Amazon and go down to the bottom or go to the Kindle page that says Publish with Us, then you click on the link and it says CreateSpace, and then it walks you through the process step by step, and you can have them help you with it if you want to spend, a few $100s on the interior, a few $100s on the exterior. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just do my own thing, have my own creative, make it my own creative effort from beginning to end. And so that's what.
So did you do the artwork, the graphic?
I did it all.
And do they have templates,
They have
that
templates,
sort of thing?
yeah. And,
So the students, if they wanted to go home and write a novel today, let's say they all want to do that, there would be a template. Would they have to know Microsoft Word? Do they have to go buy an Adobe suite? Like, how easy does Amazon make it for them?
you can do it with Word.
They've all got that Microsoft Word, so.
A PDF. It would be better if you had PageMaker,
Okay.
but that's expensive.
Under $1,000, I think, for the suite.
Yeah, under.
Well, for students, but I mean, but relatively speaking, if you're looking to, if this is something you're going to do from now on, the
Yeah.
software would not be a bad investment. So.
Right. Yeah, that would be good. But you could do it in Word, and I did this one in Word, and I bounced it off lots of people. Here, I'll just pass it around. You can kind of take a look at it and see what you think. This one is not the final proof. If you look on the back, the back printing is too far to the left-hand side, so I had to redo it. And so this is probably my 10th proof. So I've gone through a lot of iterations with it, fixing the interior, fixing the exterior, changing the paper, changing the size. I went down a notch on the size. This is 8 by 5. I went down from 8.5 by 5.
That changes the price on it too, doesn't it? When you're price point when you're publishing it.
The pages changes.
Okay.
If you have more pages, it's a little bit more costly.
Okay.
But going down a step, I also went down on the font size, so it was the same. It was pretty much the same.
And it's already up on Kindle, correct?
It's up on Kindle, and it should have been up on Amazon yesterday, but again, user error, me being the user. It's kind of interesting. Well, I won't get into the wouldn't help you.
Okay, so let's say they want to write a book or whatever, and they go to Create Space. Can they make for themselves an ebook, a Kindle book?
Well, you don't even have to go to CreateSpace to do that. You just do that directly through Amazon.
Just go to Amazon.
Yeah, you just upload the Word file, and they have a conversion for you program, and it just takes it maybe 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes.
And that's a little different than, this is, would this be called publishing on demand? So however many people order it, that's how many they make? Or
Yes.
do you order, say, 500 and then 500 more? How does this work?
Well, I can order it for myself and sell them myself, and I can, and also it's on demand through Amazon.
Okay.
And on demand is immediate. I mean, when I order the proofs, they ship it the same day, so it's not like they have to, it takes a long time to do that.
So theoretically, if you wanted to change the ending, you could change the ending, get yourself a new proof, and essentially have a different book than what you have right this minute. Or am I wrong about that?
You could do that. You could upload it as a different project, or you could even upload it as the same project. But there's some turnaround time on that, because Amazon has to look at it, approve it, then they send you a proof copy, and then you can then it goes live. And then once it goes live, they take it down, and it's not in print, and then it takes them about 7 working days, 5 to 7 working days to get the site back up and running. But you could do that.
Well, with it, in the old days of the editorial process, it's like, if, let's say you made an extravagant error in your book or whatever, it's like, that could be about a 6-month turnaround in the
Right.
old days of publishing, so.
Yeah.
And that would be presuming that you wanted to go around and buy up all the copies that had the mistake in them. So, I mean, yeah, so that's 7 days, that's a wildly different process than what it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah, you can turn it around in a week.
And what role do booksellers play in it? Like, say, Joseph Beth and Morris and Blackstone, what role do they play as self-publishing? JD talked to us a little bit about self-publishing changes. She's starting a new self-publishing Kindle company. And Mac at University Press talked to us a little bit about that. What's the, what's the role of platforming in getting this out? Because it's like, you've written it, you had everybody edit it, it's been proved, you're ready to go with it. Now what happens in the process?
Well, now you have to have a marketing plan for what you want to do. And Kindle is marketed through Amazon, and essentially you have worldwide distribution there. So it's ready for you to then try and get some publicity for your book. Also, the on-demand is the same. It's almost worldwide distribution for your book, and you have to be able to follow that up with some sort of marketing plan. You might concentrate on your hometown and work out from there, hit all of the bookstores in your hometown, and try and get some buzz going. But at some point, it's going to have to, and you use social media, use Facebook and Twitter, and my friend Matt is an expert on all of these things. Get a video out there, and people are more likely to circulate that around. If a video should go viral, then that's a good thing for your book, and people can immediately go and buy it.
Like, if we shaved your head?
If my head were shaved, which I'm fully prepared to do.
Okay.
I have a razor here. No. Yeah, so you've got to think in terms of that, and I would say set yourself a goal, and just work toward that goal, and keep developing your marketing plan. One thing to keep in mind: the major bookstores, which are now kind of consolidating, as maybe you heard, Borders filed for bankruptcy yesterday.
Wall Street Journal front page. Yeah.
Barnes and Noble. Maybe they'll expand a little bit, but the problem is that ebooks are really cutting into their profits. That's bad for the major chains, but it's really pretty good for the independent chains, I think, because for the independent booksellers, because they don't have the same requirement for profit margin, because they're mom and pops, they make whatever money they make, and they're generally pretty happy with that. It's not the same for Barnes and Noble. So Barnes and Noble and Borders are gonna leave the markets, but people still want bookstores to go to. They like to do that. They like to go have a cup of coffee and buy a book and sit down and read it and that sort of thing. So independent people, I think, are gonna soak that up. I would start with that because in order to get into a Barnes and Noble type of bookseller, you have to go into a distribution company. You have to get your book into a distribution company. So however much it costs to make the book on Amazon or CreateSpace, then they're going to double that, and then Barnes and Noble is going to double that again. So at some point, you really have to keep track of your of how much it costs in order to market a book effectively with the national books. So this one, it took, I think, $3.23 for each copy. So then if you put it through a wholesaler, a distribution company, and there are several of them that Barnes and Noble uses, they're going to make it $6.26. I'm a lawyer, not a mathematician,
Well, but of
but
actually,
my rough calculation
the
is.
cost of getting it to the stands will then be roughly double.
Right, so right there,
in distribution, yeah.
yeah, okay, let's say, and then you add, I don't know, a quarter or a quarter, 50 cents for shipping per copy, maybe less than that. Let's say a quarter. So, so you're up to, let's say, $6.50, let's say. Then Barnes and Noble is going to make it $13. Take half of that. So where's your profit in that? You've got to then add an additional amount of money on top of that. So $13. You couldn't sell this book for less than 14, 15 maybe in a bookstore, which is not terribly uncompetitive. That's what you're going to see on the shelf. So they're really getting it down into the ballpark. So it's getting there. The business end of these things is getting there.
In children's books, I think JD said that they make an average author in royalties, and you saw the little hardcover book, you know, the kind of books you can chew on. You should also make that one shoe-proof. That's what JD taught us. That's big, make it shoe-proof. But in her, I think they literally, the authors make, pennies per copy. So you're talking volume, no, she has Random House as her publisher, so it's like, so the volume for children's books is a certain amount of libraries will buy them, a certain amount of bookstores will buy them, there will be a certain amount of tours, it's like, but you're still talking, for the author, at the end of the day, working for Random House, pennies, versus what I also cannot do math, but I believe Todd is talking about dollars, so pennies, dollars better, so, but also you don't have the muscle of Random House behind you that's sitting and working the phones, old school, getting you into bookstores, et cetera, but you don't have the overhead that Random House has to pay.
Exactly. I'm an independent, kind of mom and pop, basically, compared to them.
And that trend in bookstores is a complete flip in 10 years. It's like years ago, Borders, Barnes and Noble, and then Davis Kid, which was Joseph, came in and swept all the mom and pops out of business, and then now there's a flip to return back to that because the mom and pops don't have the overheads to stay in business. So like I believe our local Joseph will stay in business. Joseph, the chain, Davis Kid, I'm not as certain about, and they filed for bankruptcy last fall. So, and have shuttered some of their stores. I saw the Borders you can look up, I'll post it on your Twitter, Borders Wall Street Journal report yesterday, and they are shuttering a lot of stores. And then they have the publishers angry. So Penguin, Scrivener, all of those, they've all shipped books in good faith that they will be sold. What now happens to Random House, Simon & Schuster? What happens to those guys who have all of their books out circulating in what is now a bankrupt company?
Yeah, we may be taking over. This may be the only book you're able to get.
Ever. So, yeah, if you enjoyed reading that may be all. So.